Hi, I'm Seth. I'm from the band Elephant Sessions, and I'm here to talk to you today about YouTube and how you can best make it work for you as a band or as an artist. So YouTube is an online video hosting platform. It started back in 2005 and was originally a massive success for people putting their own videos online, and anyone could watch them. And it initially started out as a huge discovery platform for lots of artists. People like Justin Bieber and The Weeknd were discovered through singing songs on YouTube, doing covers, etc. And they got picked up by major labels and signed, and their careers started out as a result of that. These days, it's not so much of a thing, but it's super useful in loads of other ways. So these days, YouTube has evolved massively since its first incarnations. It now has a ton of different features and services which it provides, some of which are useful to musicians, some of which aren't. There is YouTube Premium, which is their premium subscription service. There's YouTube TV, which is like a whole load of cable network TV stuff. There's YouTube Movies, which is a streaming service. None of these are particularly useful. YouTube Go, which is an Android-based app for developing countries and emerging markets. The ones which are more useful are probably YouTube Community, which, if you have over 1,000 subscribers, it's like a social network platform on YouTube, which is brilliant. You can post blog posts, text, images, videos, etc. It's amazing. A super useful way to communicate with your fans doing that. There is YouTube Music, which is YouTube's own streaming service, so that's kind of like a competitor to Spotify or Apple Music. And then two new additions that came out in 2020, 2021 are YouTube Shorts, which is their attack at TikTok, doing 15-second short videos, similar to TikTok or Vine. And then YouTube Stories, which is their story version, similar to Instagram Stories or to Snapchat Stories. That's only available in the mobile app, and it's only available if you have over 10,000 subscribers. So it may or may not be useful there. So these days, there's so much content on YouTube that being discovered randomly through it is not so much of a thing. However, it's still a super useful discovery platform. If you were to look for a new band, search in Google, or a new artist and type them in Google, the top 3 search results will guarantee to have YouTube videos in if there is a YouTube presence. So it's a fantastic way of finding new people. I know when I search for a new artist, if I'm at my desktop, I'll go to YouTube and type in and see what I can find, because it's a great way of listening to their music, but also seeing what they look like, what they're about. You get a much more broad sense of what the band is doing. So, as an artist, the most useful thing you can do with YouTube is to have it as like a show reel. So for your show reel, you put all of your best content on there. Like whether that is your music videos, if you've got official looking music videos, this is what people tend to do, but you can also put loads of great live footage on there. And it acts as like a landing platform for people who are searching for your music, and they can see everything that you're about. So you have your super polished music videos on there looking amazing and sounding great. You have all your live footage on there, which gives your audience an idea of what you look like and sound like when you're playing live. And, you know, if you're a really high energy band and you've got the high energy live footage there, it's a really good way of promoters or festival bookers finding your vibe when you're playing live. I know that as a band, we've got a lot of traction through live footage, and we'll often send as part of our press package a link to our YouTube Live playlist. We've set up playlists within our profile which have music videos, so people can easily access those for the pro looking ones. We have a live footage, so we've got curated really good live footage in there, which we know that if a promoter saw it, would be happy with them for them to see, and it makes it easily and manageable for people to find what they're looking for. In your YouTube profile, it's really important that it's kept up to date and it looks as professional as possible. So keeping all your playlists nice and neat, having all of your header image linked in with your branding content, having your logos and things. You can put your logo as a watermark on your videos. There's all these different things that you can do to tie the branding together and make it look coherent and nice. In the About section, you have space to put your bio and links to things like your Instagram, your Facebook, your website, etc., your Spotify. You can also add links into your header bar. On your landing page, you can also pin a video to the top. So if you have one which you want people to see first of all when they go on your page, no matter what, then that's the one that you pin to the top. That could be a video of yourself welcoming people to your page, so that whenever they click on the page, you're like, hey, welcome to my page. It could also be your latest music video. It could be a thing announcing your latest tour and your newest album release. Whatever it is, you can stick it up the top and keep it there. So if you go behind the scenes in YouTube, there's a load of super useful features there as well. The analytics section is brilliant for finding out who's watching, what demographic they are, where they're coming from, and you can pinpoint exactly who's listening to you where, which is super useful for tour planning and for targeting new places to go to. You can also get an idea of the demographic of your audience, so whether they're younger kids, whether they're older adults, who's buying what, where they're coming from. Really useful tool. So there's also other features such as YouTube's Creator Academy, which you can get access to, and that is a fantastic resource for teaching you all the different things, really in depth about how to get the best out of YouTube. So there's courses on how to get started with YouTube, there's content strategy, there's production tips, there's money and business and policy information on how you can get the most out of doing YouTube. I will say that if you're expecting to make large amounts of money out of YouTube through the monetization of adverts, etc., there are various different stages that you have to hit to get to that in terms of subscribers and views. To get there, it takes a lot of work. So unless you're going to be putting out content regularly and you are into the flow of creating videos, I think aspiring to do that as a monetary income thing is difficult. It's not impossible, but it is difficult. You can get your videos to a level where they're ad-worthy fairly quickly, but to be turning over real income from it, it's hard work. There is information on Creator Academy on how to do all those things. There is also a feature called YouTube for Artists that has more resources specifically geared towards being a musician and creating content for YouTube through music. You can promote your music through there. It talks about how copyright claims work, etc. Very, very, very useful resource. That's also available through the back end of YouTube. Another aspect of YouTube that is super useful is the fact that most smart TVs now have a YouTube app built into them. So if you're watching on a smart TV, you can get straight to YouTube from that, and it's a really good way of hosting long-form content, which people can now watch in a more immersive way on a big telly with good speakers. So having good premium content up there, particularly live shows, you can watch an entire live show from the comfort of your own home, and you can do that directly through the YouTube app. So hosting on YouTube for that kind of content is brilliant. So final top tip for YouTube is using the listing features to your advantage. So you can publicly list a video, and that means anyone can see it. You can also register a video as unlisted, which means that it's still live, but it's hidden from the search feature, so no one can find it unless you have a link. This is a super useful way of being able to share content with people privately. So you could host a show reel on there, like a performance thing for festivals. So if you don't have an agent yourself, or if you're booking for yourself, or if you're putting content online for your agent to use, then you can host a show reel or a specific live performance which you like to send out to festivals as a promotion of how you perform live. It's a really good way of having that immediately available as a link that anyone can click onto straight away. It's hosted, so you don't have to worry about it not playing properly, and it means that it's hidden from view, so you can tailor it to specific things. So you could be doing an introduction for a specific festival, where if you're trying to target them directly, you could do a video specifically for them, and only they can see it if you send the link to them in an email. So you can host it unlisted, copy the link, send it, and only they can see it. And that's a super powerful and useful way of putting really good content online, having it immediately accessible and good quality. So yeah, super useful tool. So to summarize, even though YouTube might seem a bit outdated, it's still a super useful, I'd say essential tool for any musician or artist. It's a really great place to have a show reel of all of your best music, and it is one of the places that people who are looking for you will find first. So making sure it's up to date, making sure it's clean and tidy and unified with the rest of your branding, making sure that the content that you have on there is good, really strong, the best music that you can put forward, whether it be live performances, showing your energy, or showing your dexterity as a musician, or your passion as a vocalist, or whatever it is. Or if it's your music videos, making sure they're up and they're at the best quality that they can be. It will act as a brilliant show reel, and it will be the best impression that people can get of your music and who you are immediately, because everything's sort of tied into one. In terms of making money out of it, it's not going to make you vast amounts of money, and you probably don't have to put that much effort into creating a huge amount of content for it, but anytime you do make content for other things, you can put it on YouTube as well. If you're making short form videos, or if you're making longer form things, like if you're doing a series for Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you can host it on YouTube as well, and then it's more discoverable. So cross-posting across those things is really useful. Don't forget to use your profile page in the About section and to use your links to drive traffic through to your other sites, whether it be your socials or your own website. That way people can find out more about you and get more involved through the discovery process. Ultimately, it's a super useful tool, so get at it, make sure it's neat and tidy, and hopefully loads of people will find your stuff.